Hello and welcome everyone. I hope this message finds you fit and fine. Today in our Lakshmikant series contests, we need to talk about Panchayati Raj institutions. We have divided this topic into two videos. First, we are going to talk about evolution of Panchayati Raj as a concept in Indian polity. So this concept got shaped through recommendation of different committees, and UPSC has asked question on these committees' recommendations. And I would advise that you have just a A4 size paper and have 6 boxes over this, or you can have 4 based on your handwriting. Then as we complete this particular topic, these committees part, then just mention the keywords related to that particular committee. For example, Balwant Rai Mehta committee, we are going to talk about the whole statement, but mention just one keyword. Then Ashok Mehta committee, one keyword. So you will have some 4-5 keywords in these committees' recommendation, and then you will see that many of these recommendations are similar with different committees. So then you can highlight, okay, so it will become easier for you to retain these recommendations and solve those questions, right? Let's start. So Panchayati Raj institutions are given constitutional status, means they are mentioned in constitution. So this happened after 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. If I say that concept of panchayat actually got shaped after the 73rd, or you can say was formed after 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act in India, do you think that statement would be correct? No. Concept of panchayats was not formed after this particular amendment. Even just it gave constitutional status to that, okay? Because panchayats in India are present historically, right? They were present in ancient time as well, in medieval time as well, right? So the word panch represent 5, right? This is a social institution which later got a status of informal political institution, then later formal political institution. It simply means that people themselves chose 5 Panch Parmeshwar, that these are the most respected people in our village, and when it comes to any issue of the village, we'll go to them, we'll have a panchayat, means before each member of our village, majority of the members of the village, and whatever decision is taken in that panchayat, we are going to adhere to that, right? So it was serving a great purpose of conflict resolution as well as some minor developmental works at the level of village without even government support, right? So then government identified its importance, and that is when we actually took steps to actually formalize it. Okay, so now in these recommendations, we need to identify, okay, this recommendation was given, and do we have this recommendation in place as of now? So you will find one recommendation we adopted from, say, Balwant Rai Mehta committee, then Ashok Mehta, G.V. Rao. So we compiled these, best from these recommendations, and then we actually made this constitutional amendment. Okay, so Balwant Rai Mehta committee was formed to review 2 important schemes of that time, which were made for actually ensuring basic services in our villages. Those schemes were CDP, means Community Development Program, and National Extension Service. So Balwant Rai Mehta identified there are a lot of gaps in the implementation of these schemes, and the gaps are because administrative structure is weak at the level of village, means government's ability to reach out to actually these people is very there's a lot of deficiencies there, and that is why he recommended there should be a 3-tier structure dedicated for changing the rural environment, right, bringing true development there. And he said there should be gram panchayats, means at the level of village, then over the group of villages there should be panchayat samiti, and when it comes to all the villages concentrated in a district, there should be a Zilla Parishad. Okay, Zilla means district and Parishad means council, but he used the term Zilla Parishad. Now 3 tiers organically they should be linked through indirect election. What does it mean? He said at the level of village panchayat, election should be direct, but when it comes to Panchayat Samiti and Zilla Parishad, its members should be actually elected from the members who are elected by villagers, means at the level of village panchayat. So this was his recommendation, right? I hope you got this. Okay, means at the level of village panchayat, adult members having their name in voting list, they are going to vote, right? But now you have group of villages, gram panchayats, right? And over this you have one, you can say, Panchayat Samiti. Now whoever are elected representatives in Gram Panchayats, now they are going to choose who are going to be the part of this Panchayat Samiti. Then you have so many Panchayat Samitis. Now these Panchayat Samiti members are going to decide who is going to be part of this Jila Parishad. I hope you got the idea. Now, Panchayat Samiti should be the executive body, means execution responsibility should be at the level of middle tier, right? Jila Parishad should be advisory, coordinatory and supervisory role. So you found that means execution power was given to this, right? District collector should be the chairman of Jila Parishad. But this is not the case as of now, right? Genuine transfer of powers and responsibility and resources. So can you tell me which article of Indian Constitution, DPSP, actually this particular statement is representing the spirit of that particular article? That is Article 40 of our Constitution, right? Organization of Panchayats, Gandhian principle. We discussed it when we were discussing DPSPs, right? Now, recommendations accepted in 1958, and after that we found Rajasthan actually started this, you can say, Panchayati Raj, Nagaur district, right? But please remember, these recommendations were adopted and states were having their, their choice whether they want to implement it or not. There was no talk that they should be given constitutional status as of now. Then we had Ashok Mehta Committee. December 1977-1978, Janata government, Morarji Desai, they actually appointed this committee and it gave 132 recommendations. But we need to go through important recommendations and differences. Balwant Rai Mehta committee recommended 3-tier structure, 3 levels, right? But Ashok Mehta recommended 2-tier structure. There should be just 2 tiers. Zilla Parishad at district level and below it Mandal Panchayat, means over group of villages. Consists of group of villages with a total population of 15,000 to 20,000. Now some of you might be thinking, sir, why he actually made this recommendation of 2 tier? 3 tiers were good, more representation. But Ashok Mehta committee observed that there are certain villages which have disproportionate, amount of population when it comes to comparison with other villages. Means some villages where we have very few actually families living. There are other villages who are bigger in size. So how we can actually ensure you can say a uniformity when it comes to representation at Gram Panchayat level, right? So he said, let's actually consolidate some villages and then make different mandals and have Mandal Panchayat there. Jila Parishad should be the executive authority, executive body. Now, what Balwant Rai was saying? Balwant Rai was saying that executive power should be at the middle level, Panchayat Samiti. But he said no, Jila Parishad, okay, at district level. And there should be regular social audit also. For example, some function has been, some developmental work has been done. But whether that development work has actually done there, this audit should be done from the people themselves. If people say yes, this work has been done, then only payment should be released. That's a good concept. The Panchayati Raj institution should compulsory power of taxation, and he also stressed on this, that there should be self-sufficiency at the level of Panchayat. The Panchayati Raj body should have money, and how can they have when they are given power to give impose tax, right? And there should be a Nyaya Panchayat also. Nyaya Panchayat should be kept a separate body. Means there should be a developmental Panchayat, which are this Mandal Panchayat and this Jila Panchayat, and Nyaya Panchayat would be a judicial body. Because why Ashok Mehta was saying that? Because many villages are so far from the district center that it takes around 2 hours journey, or at that time maybe more than that, to actually reach to the district center. So every villager don't have this capacity or time to actually go there. So their cases should be resolved at the level of village only, right? That's why there should be a Nyaya Panchayat where there should be a qualified judge. Chief Electoral Officer of the state should consult this Chief Election Commissioner, and there should be regular elections. Minister of Panchayati Raj should be there in the State Council of Ministers. There should be a separate ministry there. The constitutional recognition should happen. Now, I told you, at the level of Balwant Rai Mehta, there was no talk that let's give it a status of constitutional body. But at the time of Ashok Mehta, this talk started that yes, constitutional status needs to be given. Okay. So there can be a question statement there. That is why please remember it. Clear? Developmental function should be transferred to Jila Parishad, and development staff need to be given to this Jila Parishad level, because he told us in the previous recommendation that executive power should be at the level of Jila Parishad. For execution you need staff, right? Seats for SCs and STs should be reserved, and this is another important recommendation, new one, right? Based on their population there should be reservation for SCs and STs. And due to the what happened actually, due to the collapse of Janata government, means Morarji Desai government, no action could be taken on the recommendation of Ashok Mehta committee at central level. But since recommendations were out, 3 states, Karnataka, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh, they accepted certain recommendations and modeled their Panchayati Raj on these lines. Now came GVK Rao committee. So it was made to review the existing administrative arrangement for rural development, which were actually in place in different states. And you should also know there were a lot of differences actually. There was no uniformity. So now poverty elevation programs government was planning. So first we need to know how things are working on ground. Then only we can identify, okay, whether this program will actually penetrate to the grassroots or not. So that is why this GVK Rao committee became important, appointed by Planning Commission. What were the recommendations? Now, district level body, that is Jila Parishad, should be the pivotal importance. Now, do you find comparison? Do you find similarity here? Ashok Mehta committee was also saying, yes, district level should be the executive body. And here they are also saying district level should be the executive, means pivotal importance should be there. Some planning functions at state level should be transferred to district planning. And for this, GVK Rao became important, because we have district planning committee concept. Now, Panchayati Raj institutions at the district and lower level should be assigned and important with respect to planning. So it means 3 functions. GVK Rao said planning, implementation, monitoring. These are the 3 crucial functions, right, for changing the scenario of development in an area. All 3 functions should be given to Panchayati Raj. Don't you think it's a major recommendation? Planning, implementation, monitoring. Elections to the Panchayati Raj should be held regularly, and Ashok Mehta was also stressing on that, right? Now, recommendation of GVK Rao committee report differed from those of Dantwala committee and Hanumanta. These were other committees. Hanumanta Rao committee advocated separate district planning bodies under either district collector and a minister. Means separate means different from Panchayati Raj. Okay, but GVK Rao was saying no, Panchayati Raj. He was saying for Panchayati Raj at the level of district. There should be district planning committee. Now, collector should be the coordinator at district level for all developmental and planning work. This is what Hanumanta Rao was saying. And Dantawala is saying block level planning. Okay, obviously different. GVK Rao was saying this Zilla level, district level planning. Okay. So sometimes question is asked, which of the following committee is related to Panchayati Raj evolution. So for that you should know Balwant Rai Mehta, Ashok Mehta, right, GVK Rao, Dantwala, or this Hanumanta. Now, name the committee appointed in 1986 by Rajiv Gandhi on revitalization of Panchayat Raj institutions for democracy and development. And you have to answer. Ashok Mehta committee, LM Singhvi committee, GVK Rao committee, Balwant Rai Mehta committee. As of now, we have discussed these 3 committees, right? Tell me what's the answer. Obviously, none of these means the committees which we have discussed is not the answer, right? Answer is LM Singhvi committee, which we have not discussed because Rajiv Gandhi era has just begun. LM Singhvi committee, 1986. So, Rajiv Gandhi government appointed this committee to prepare, and this is the term, revitalization of Panchayat Raj institutions for democracy and development under the chairmanship of Mr. LM Singhvi. So, recommendations were constitutional status. Don't you think it is same, resonating, right, what Ashok Mehta was saying? Villages should be reorganized. Now, I told you, Balwant Rai Mehta was saying there should be 3-tier structure. Ashok Mehta said two-tier structure. Why? I told you because, disproportionate population across villages, right? So that is why this committee recommended, let's do one thing now. Let's reorganize villages, right? Village panchayat should have more financial power. Nyaya panchayat concept we already actually got recommendation, should be established at cluster of village. Judicial tribunal should be there so that any dispute with respect to election can be adjudicated at this level. Then came this Thangan Committee, 1988. Now, a subcommittee for consultative committees parliament. Now, some of the recommendations you will find that yes, they are being implemented as of now. That is why we are discussing it. So, this was consultative committee of parliament and political administrative structure for the purpose of district planning. This is what they need, this committee need to analyze. So, what recommendation? Panchayati Raj should be constitutionally recognized. Again, they are also saying, bana dijiye isko constitutional body. Panchayati Raj body should be having fixed tenure of 5 years. There should be a 3-tier Panchayati Raj system, yani ke village, block and district. Maximum period for supersession is 6 months. It means, although elections should be conducted before completion of the tenure of one panchayat, that is 5 years. But if due to some reason the elections have not happened, then it can be extended till 6 months, not more than that. Jila Parishad should be a pivot. Importance of Jila Parishad. Don't you think so many committees have actually agreed on the same thing, right? Ashok Mehta, then G.V.K. Rao, then Thangan is also saying same. Planning and Coordinating Committee, Chairmanship of Minister Planning. President of Jila Panchayat should be its members. Now, District Collector should be the Chief Executive Officer, not the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, right? Reservation for the seats in all 3 tiers for SC and STs based on population. One more thing, Thangan said women. There should be reservation for women also. A State Finance Commission should be there, and we have State Finance Commission, right, as a constitutional body after 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, right? Then came this Gadgil Committee. Committee on Policy and Programs was constituted in 1988 when Gadgil. Some of the recommendations are important. Was asked that you need to review how we can make them more effective. Constitutional recognition should be given. Again, they are also saying the same thing. Panchayat Raj institution should be fixed, have term for 5 years. Again, what Thangan was also saying. 3-tier system, members of panchayat to have, they should be elected directly at all 3 levels. And why I'm saying it is important, because this is in practice, right? Panchayat body should be empowered to levy taxes so that they can become self-sufficient. Reservation for SC/ST women, what Thangan was saying. And this Panchayati Raj body should have responsibility for preparation and implementation of socio-economic development. So this is what the prime you can say responsibility of Panchayati Raj institutions is, right? Establishment of State Finance Commission, what Thangan was also saying, same. Now, constitutionalization. Now, what Rajiv Gandhi government did. So they introduced 64th Constitutional Amendment Bill. So many committees are saying that they should give it this the Panchayati Raj as constitutional status. But what happened? It got passed in Lok Sabha, but Rajiv Gandhi government was facing, you can say, apprehensions in Rajya Sabha, because many states were saying this will actually take away power of various states, right? States. They want, the control and the power related to development of villages in their hand. If there's a 3rd tier which is developing, it's like center, state, and then Panchayati Raj. They were thinking if there's so many power are going to be given to Panchayati Raj, then why would people will come to, state legislators, right? Their powers are going to be compromised. So finally, this could not actually pass from Rajya Sabha, and that is why it could not actually float. Then VP Singh government came to strengthen Panchayati Raj institutions. They also actually introduced Constitutional Amendment Bill, but their government fall, and that is why this bill lapsed. Then came Narasimha Rao government, and this Narasimha Rao government, they played smart. They made certain tweakings in Constitutional Amendment Bill so that states were given some avenues where they can actually make laws as per their, you can say, viewpoint, right? So there were some mandatory provisions and there were some more voluntary provisions. So states actually found it quite, useful. Yeah, there are some voluntary provisions as well. So finally, when these removal happened of controversial part, then finally it emerged as 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. So who was the leader at the time? Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao. Which one of the following articles direct the state government to organize panchayat? Article 40, right? 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act finally happened, 1992. Now some of the features. It added part 9 and 11 schedule. Some facts, right? Article 40 DPSP was saying about it. Article 243 to Article 243O talks about these Panchayati Raj institutions here. Now some salient features. It provides Gram Sabha. What is Gram Sabha? Gram Sabha means group of people of that village, of that gram, who are adult and they have their name in this voting list, right? You can say electoral rolls. So these are Gram Sabha. Please remember, Gram Sabha is not a you can say a framework where some people are there. Means there's a difference between Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. Gram Panchayat is an elected body. Gram Sabha actually represents the people, right? It is a body consisting of persons registered in the electoral rolls. Thus, it's a village assembly consisting of all the registered voters. This is what I have explained this to you. It may exercise powers and perform such functions the village as a state legislature may make. I told you, some provisions are voluntary. So, state legislature can actually give them more power also, have control over other Panchayat institutions. So, now we have 3-tier structure: Zilla Parishad district level, Panchayat Samitis block level, and Gram Panchayat village level. Don't you think we started from this? Balwant Rai Mehta recommended 3-tier, right? Zilla Parishad at the district, Panchayat Samiti block level means group of villages, and then you have village level. Now, election of members and chairpersons. Now, remember this detail. Chairperson of Panchayat at intermediate level and district level, they shall be elected indirectly. Indirectly means at the middle level and at the district level, indirectly. However, the chairperson of Panchayat at village level, how that person is going to be elected, directly or indirectly, this is power of state legislature to determine. This is power of state legislature. Please remember, there can be a question from this fact, this provision. Now, when it comes to reservation, there will be reservation for SCs and STs in all 3 levels, but based on population, right? It may be possible some areas are not having ST population. Then can you have mandatory ST reservation seat there? No, because they don't have population there. The state legislature shall provide for the reservation of office of chairperson, the Panchayat at the village, and any other level for SCs and STs. So here we discuss Act provides reservation of seats for SCs and STs in every Panchayat, okay, in proportion to their population, total population, okay. And here we are talking about office of chairperson, okay. So members and chairperson, there's a difference, right? Act provides for reservation of not less than 1/3 seats for women. But please remember, it also includes the number of seats reserved for women belonging to SC and STs, right? So these will be included in the 1/3 seats which are reserved for women. This is not a separate reservation that 1/3 seat reserved for women and separate 1/3 for SC, STs. In that, there will be separate reservation for women. No, it's included. That also authorizes legislature to make any provision reservation seats Panchayat officer for backward classes. It simply means we have talked about SC and STs, we talked about women. When it comes to backward classes, how much reservation need to be given at what level? This is power of state legislature. If Panchayat is dissolved, elections are to be held within 6 months from the date of dissolution. Now, duration. It can be dissolved before the completion of its term also. The term is 5 years, right? Consider a Panchayat got dissolved in 3 years. Then you will have new elections, right? And the new Panchayat is going to continue only for 2 years, 3 plus 2. It means the new Panchayat is not going to have full 5-year term. Clear? And there's another case here. Consider 5 years is the term, right? And there are 5 months remaining or 4 months remaining before this Panchayat completes its tenure. Okay. So now do you think now the newly constituted Panchayat is going to serve for just for 3 months or 2 months remaining? No, because that would be wastage of public resources. Again, you have to conduct elections, right? That is why if time remaining is less than 6 months, then this separate, this continuation of the term clause is not going to be applicable. I hope this is clear now. fresh election before expiry of duration of 5 years, before the expiry of a period of 6 months from the date of dissolution. Within 6 months it should happen. As I told you, if it happened less than 6 months are remaining, then this clause is not going to apply, right? Not necessary to hold election. A panchayat reconstituted after premature dissolution does not enjoy the full period of 5 years. I told you is going to continue for the remainder period. This is the word remainder. You already got it, right? Disqualification. Now there can be a question over it. All right. A statement would be that the disqualification at the level of panchayat or Panchayati Raj members can also happen as per the law which is applicable for disqualification of state legislature members. Do you think that statement would be true? That's true. Read. Under any law for the time being in force for the purpose of election of the legislature of the state concerned. Right? On this basis disqualification can happen here also. Or any other law which is made by state legislature in regard to Panchayati Raj. That on these basis disqualification can happen in Panchayati Raj. This power is with state legislature. No person shall be disqualified on the ground she is less than 25 years. Why we are referring? Because 25 years is the minimum age if you want to become an MLA. But if you want to become member of Panchayati Raj, you only need 21 years as the minimum age. Right? I hope many of you can become member of Panchayati Raj bodies. Now, to review annual statement of accounts, annual progress report of the Panchayat is the main function of. Now see, some people would think, oh, collector should be the person, right? But the answer is Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha is given this power as well as responsibility. Now, fundamental object of Panchayat Raj system is to ensure which of the following. This was asked by UPSC. Answer is democratic decentralization. So now if you are planning to purchase any course from Study IQ, this is the information that there is an offer going on the occasion of Eid. The whole course with double validity is available in 9999. You can use this code. See you in the next video, and till then keep learning, keep growing. If you find any difficulty, you can also connect with me on shashank.powerbeing. That is my personal Insta handle.